Well, I think we're just waiting for, and it is 2 o'clock, and but I don't know how much time everyone has carved now for this, there is normal meeting we put together here. But I do want to be respectful of your time. This is not formal. I did have to put together an agenda because our committee does have to give public notice for meetings, and going forward, because we will be doing, as the public will be holding our meetings via Zoom. We had figured that participation would probably be most optimal if individuals didn't have to actually get in the car and try to come here, especially for folks who don't work here. It's hard to get in the building and find parking and so forth. So if we could participate, virtually, that might, promote more participation. So that's what we'll do going forward. I think everyone knows here, we're going to take an opportunity to go around and introduce yourself and just like where you're from and give us as much information. But back to that, if you need to leave, please run. Please feel free to stay as little or as long as you guys want. This was just an opportunity because it would be our only in-person meeting. So I thought it would be nice to just meet face-to-face, networking opportunity. So I think the only people that were, Megan Newman just messaged from the public PD's office. She said she just left the jail. She's on the way. I'm not sure if Eric's going to come. Unfortunately, Sam just texted and said that he's not going to be able to come. Justin Crow at the DA's office, he is at the beach. Oh, no, he's not at the beach. He's at Yosemite, right?
Right.
Yeah, he's on family vacation, so he won't be able to join us. And then Candace, I thought Candace Allen with McNabb was going to be here. Kate Lorraine, she messaged me today and said she couldn't come to this meeting in person. And everyone else appears to be here. Rhonda Smokin. I haven't heard from Judge. I did it both you and Judge. Look at that. Hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
Most of the time, we were just kind of starting to break the mold in. I was kind of doing a little bit of a roll call.
Hey, thank y'all for being here. Appreciate y'all.
Well, Judge, I was actually just getting this kind of going. This is an informal meeting. We do have an agenda, but not so much for formality, but just to kind of keep us on track. So our chair and our vice chair of our mental health board advisory board and one of our members, Jonathan Cooper, we have 3 members from the advisory board, are here. And just to bring you guys and welcome you guys. Just a little bit of a history. Our mental health board advisory board was formed in February. That consists of our chair, Mike Hammond, our vice chair, Judge, who's also the presiding judge of our mental health, our Knox County Specialized Courts. And then we have Sean Allen, with the, you guys know these folks, so I don't have to give titles. And I'm sure you've seen the rosters and so forth. But the board decided they had conversations on the benefits of forming kind of a subcommittee of all those folks that are intertwined and, work in this industry and so forth, to collaborate and kind of help us navigate, and kind of help us, obtain the information and collect the resource information that we need to all be successful. So that's where the history is of forming this subcommittee called the Community Review Committee. Was the name we had landed on. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the chair, vice chair, to welcome you guys, and then we'll say some opening remarks. So.
Well, unfortunately, I just came to get a cookie, and so I've got to get back. But thank you all for being a part of this. As a means of a brief history, we actually started this process back in 2019, but because of COVID, everything got pushed back. So once COVID kind of started to wane, Mayor Jacobs formed a committee to take a look at the feasibility of a mental health board for Knox County. And that was when the committee was formed. And we've been meeting now for well over a year. And as you might imagine, there's a lot of details that had to be worked out on the legal side, which Judge Cerny has been leading that charge along with John Cooper and some of the other judges. And so we feel like we have a great framework to begin the process from the legal side. Now, the other aspect of this is the resource side. It does us no good to have someone go before the judge and the judge says, okay, now you're a member of the mental health board or you're a participant. Well, what does that mean? Where do we go from there? That's why you all are extremely important as we go through the process now to say, okay, there is a resource treatment component that is extremely important to this, because this is not a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day deal. You're looking at 18 to 24 months. So we're looking at long-term, with the goal being turn these folks' lives around, make them productive citizens, get them out of the legal process, and get them to where they're leading productive lives. So again, thank you all for being a part of this. I hate to leave, but I've got a lot of things going on. But Judge Cerny, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'm sure you can answer any questions that y'all might have.
If y'all have any questions, this has been through the nuttiest days I've had lately. But anyway, I had some civil litigants that they got to do grumpy chuck today, so we cleansing breath and all that stuff. That dude should not have stolen those daggone storage containers. He should have. You know, if you're in gym class and some kid leaves the nicest sneakers you ever imagined, and they happen to fit you, and, you know, what do? You pick up the sneakers and you take them to that kid and you say, you drop your sneakers. You don't just take them and put them on and start using them. All right. Cleansing breath. All right. Thank you. That'll help my mental health. Sure. All right. We're very, very fortunate in this county to have some really, really excellent, caring human beings who want to help other human beings. And I'm so very grateful for those folks. And they happen to include y'all. And I want to thank you for being willing to serve not only on this committee, but in whatever capacity we'll be partnering with you as we try to provide treatment and help for some of our citizens who are accused, who have mental health issues and perhaps even substance abuse issues, or other things that are contributing to their criminal justice system involvement. And having done this a few times, it's often true that when you have some big cheese, you know, boss like a DA or an elected public defender or a sheriff or something like that, they get really busy and they actually don't know quite as much about day-to-day activities of a program like this as some of the folks who are actually closer to it. And so that's why we're asking that you participate in this committee going forward, and that's why we're craving and seeking your input. And this meeting, we were hoping for just mostly introduction, kind of networking, and making sure that we all know who all is going to be participating. So that's basically the message. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm looking forward to working with you. We gotta make that stop.
No one moved, and I don't know.
See,
That the ghost.
That's you know, the powers that be letting me know that I shouldn't have been so grumpy with those things. But thank you again for being here. Y'all have some questions for us at this point?
I was thinking what we could do. I definitely want everyone to go around and just introduce themselves and just kind of like, if you want to talk about where you're at and what you do in your capacity. But just to get through the agenda and before the IT stuff like completely puts on us, just looking at that, we are going to propose just kind of to keep a normal, typical schedule, just so people can plan around it, of doing the second Tuesday of each month. And we did this meeting at 2 p.m. Do you think that 2 p.m. would be good, or would you rather 3 p.m.
I want to accommodate ourselves.
Does anyone have any strong opinion or idea or suggestions on that time? Not necessarily. Well, let's do Tuesday at 2 because it has a ring. The second Tuesday of the month at 2 p.m. And so post this meeting, I'm going to send you guys out an email, which will have a link to join Teams. You do not need to have Microsoft Teams at all. It is web-based, so once you get invited on there. And the purpose of Teams is for us to collaborate and to share information. So I'm going to give you just a few things. Some know how to use Teams, but if you have any questions, you can contact me privately, message me, call me if you want me to give you a tutorial. I just don't want to waste a lot of time doing that at this point. So I'll send you out a link. And basically, I'll just leave here. It'll be an area for us to store files and to post information. So there we go. So as you'll see, like what you would do is anyone can start a conversation, and you would post information like, for instance, we had a great conversation with Megan Johnson, who's the Vice President of the Workforce Development, and she's going to be collaborating with us and joining the committee. The other thing is that I would like to welcome all of you guys to nominate individuals. So if you have a coworker, a peer, someone that you think that would benefit from the information that we're sharing, or has something good for the group, please invite them to join us. I would like to see us grow, and so you would just need to send me an email so that I can, kind of monitor that and send them an invitation. So once you get the invitation to serve, you'll be linked to Teams. I want to show you real quickly just how to post something and where our files are, and then also the resource directory that we're going to share. What I will say is that when you post in a new conversation, you can leave a message. When you hit enter, everyone will get a notice in their inbox if they're not being pushed an alert. And you can set up your notifications here by doing these three dots right here. If you want a net message right away. If you're one to push it to everybody, you feel like this is something time sensitive, if you just tag by starting at Knox, the team will pop up here, and when you tag it at Knox County by doing start to type out Knox County mental health and click on that, then it immediately gets pushed to everybody. So it'll get pushed to everybody and they'll get a notice. If not, it's just going to be on our wall. And as people come in, they'll get a notice in their inbox that they have a message, but they can go at their leisure to visit it, so that you can set those notifications as you'd like to receive those. So that's where we'll post and share information for the good of the group. There'll be reminders about meetings there, but as I mentioned, we will be doing meetings via Zoom. And the reason being is that we allow the general public to join us. That's just one of the requirements of a committee or a board in Knox County. So we will put out public notice, and via Zoom, everyone has that option in doing this. It's an easier way for us to be that in that way. But we'll have our agenda here so up at the top you have post, files, and our resource directory. We do have a SharePoint, and it has been formed, but we also feel like the majority of the information that we'll be sharing, we probably will be fine just using the Teams and such. So we'll have our agenda and our minutes up there, as well as our roster, and we'll add as people. I don't know why this is doing this. We'll add to our roster as people grow and so forth. So you'll always be able to see this here or that. So going back to here, the last thing I'll show is that ideally, if we have like resources, like I've just put one in here, just like for Goodwill, but we'll be able to add like organization, a contact person, phone number, email, and maybe just a little bit of information about the services that are offered. So it's just a way for us to kind of share information going forward. Does anyone have any questions about the teams necessarily? No? Okay, and again, feel free to message me privately. One of the things when we started in working with the establishment and speaking to so many different people from different organizations and different agencies, there's a lot of people are like, oh, I didn't realize that they were doing that, or oh, I didn't know that was there. Or sometimes we go to places like we went to that pre-trial conference, and there's a representative from the Measure Drug Coalition, and she was telling us that she had some new funding for like some emergency housing. That's great information. Well, how do we push that out? So that was kind of the idea. That's brainchild from the Mental Health Court Advisory Board, is kind of getting a collaborating community coordinating getting together so that we can share these resources. said, I mean, it really was an opportunity for us to just kind of meet and talk. If y'all would do me a favor, if you grab an agenda on the back, if you already know someone that you would like to invite to serve so that they can serve and sit on the Zoom meetings, and you want them to be involved, like Carla, or if you have like a coworker, like, hey, I don't know if I can come, but if someone else is on there, then they can cover if I'm out or whatnot. So if you'll please write their name and their title and their email address, and I can take it from there, and then I'll add it to the roster. What I would suggest is that if you have ideas, if you want to share information, like if you're at a conference and someone like speaks to you, or the other day I was out and about and there's a gentleman from Narcotics Anonymous. He said, I'd love to come talk to your group. He said, well, you can share my name. Feel free to jump on here and add it, or just put a post on there like, hey, it's Scope of Speed, and he'd love to speak to someone, or if anyone's interested in getting some more information about their meeting times and locations, here's his email, here's his mobile number. I would love it if people would jump on here and feel free to share that stuff, because that's the idea behind it. So, does anyone have any questions about that? No? All right, well, post this meeting. I didn't want to send it out before this, and people come ask like how or what's, I thought I'd just announce it here, send the invitations, and then go from there. And with that being said, I'd love to go around the room and for everybody to just kind of like do an introduction and just say a little bit about themselves. And so, I'm Casey Stone. I'm the I'm the mental health court coordinator. I think you guys probably picked up on that, but I probably should have introduced myself right away. And then we'll just kind of go around. Mary?
Before we do that, if I could, I apologize. If Nichols, you got that look like, why is he interrupting me? I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I got dragged to this meeting to begin with. I ain't going to recommend anybody. No way to get dragged into meetings, whether they're Zoom meetings or not, right? Well, let me give you an example of somebody that just popped into my brain and maybe we should think about inviting. Many of you may know a woman by the name of Marty LaRue Baker, and she started a thing called haircuts. And I don't know what your experience has been with haircuts. My experience has been very minimal, but positive. And Ms. Baker apparently has helped many mentally ill folks who may or may not be justice system involved, but she's actually taken some of the folks who are homeless into her home. And of course, she started off just getting homeless guys haircuts so they would look better for a job interview. And that's how she got started, I guess. At least that's what I've been given to understand. So there's an example of someone in the community that might actually have direct contact with folks who are suffering. And that might be a good person to recruit for our little group. And likewise, many of you have information that you can share. Several of you have agencies that you work with or for that we could partner with so that we can help people who are suffering in our community who become criminal justice system involved. So, I understand it's a big ask to say, not only do I want you guys to come, but I want you to recruit some of your friends to throw them under the bus and make them show up for a meeting, whether it's on Zoom or not, monthly, every Tuesday. We hope to make it, as frequently as it needs to be, maybe somewhat less frequently perhaps, but, just wanted to put that out. By the way, I'm Chuck Cerny, and I hope some of you have seen my yard signs out there, and I hope you'll remember them in 2030. But, and I'm going to do my best to cover recovery court, veterans treatment court, and mental health. Because I know our community needs this forward-thinking way of dealing with criminal justice. I'll stop there. Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm Mary O'Neill. I'm case manager for the court. And I've worked in a lot of different parts of the system, and I think selfishly for me, this type of meeting and collaboration is so important because the clients don't.
but
Lincoln's a good example of someone that's doing a kind of process and working for it already.
you know all my phone numbers.
So it's just kind of calling you all in, so thank you so much.
Go ahead, Kevin.
My name is Kevin Horton. I'm the Senior Director of the Health Department. I was appointed there last May. Many of you I sit on other boards with, so appreciate it.
I'm Jack Dennis. I'm with Knox County Probation. I collaborated with Ron and Recovery Court, Recovery Court with Judge Cerny for a long time now. So I'm really excited about working with mental health court.
I'm Cheryl Doherty. Nice to see you guys. I'm a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. I work for the Sheriff's Office. I'm also the Mental Health Services Administrator there. So I'm pretty excited about this whole venture. I feel like there's a great need, and so it's nice to see a lot of people invest in that, so I'm pretty excited.
I'm Lakin Conley. I'm a pre-release treatment coordinator with the Knox County Sheriff's Office. You all may know my more famous counterpart, Samantha Monday, but I've been taking on a lot of mental health clients and things like that for the past few years, working alongside the mental health team with Mary and Cheryl, and I'm happy to be here. So.
I'm Stoney Gentry. I work with Knox County Sheriff's Office in the pretrial division, and we see a lot of these guys and just scratch our heads a lot of times. So I'm really looking forward to being able to glean some great information from you guys so we can help our clients, and so we don't have to see them repeatedly. Hopefully get them what they need.
I'm Randy Nichols. I work for the sheriff. I have not been overly involved in the planning of this court. I've tried to watch. We've sent the people that know what they're doing. But the sheriff wanted me to say publicly that he is very, very supportive of this veterans court. He has a special place in his heart. And he just wanted for me to let everybody know here today that whatever it takes in the sheriff's office to help this work, make this work, he's committed to trying to deliver. So that's the reason I'm here, and I'll stay in touch with the people that know what they're doing to keep up with it.
Hi, I'm Dave Klein. I'm the Chief Clinical Services Officer at Volunteer Ministry Center. I'm a licensed clinical social worker by training. Our population at VMC is people experiencing homelessness, so lots of mental health and justice involved and substance abuse crossover there. And our main services, we provide case management to help people navigate the housing system, and then VMC has 2 permanent supportive housing complexes for people who meet the HUD definition of chronic homelessness, but part of that is having a disability, and so we definitely have a lot of justice involved folks living with us, and it's amazing how much better they do, and they're not in court so often when they've got a roof over their heads and some supportive services
How
around.
many folks can you guys have?
We have 57 apartments at Manila and 48 at Caswell.
Oh, wow.
And it's all singles.
That's a lot more than I realized.
I'm Jessica Jardia Johnson. I'm a deputy law director from the Knox County Law Director's Office. I think Charlie Sturkey has been helping. He is on vacation this week, so I'm here in his stead if there are any questions, but Charlie will be back next week.
I'm Jonathan Cooper. I'm in private practice. Criminal defense is my field of practice. I was on the exploratory committee and now on the advisory board. And I'll just say I am so excited about this court. I was speaking with a mother today, this morning, whose son, who's in his 30s, has been struggling with severe mental illness for 14 years. He's out on the streets. And I was as I was talking to her, thinking, man, I wish we had a place for this guy today. So I'm very much looking forward to this.
I'm Candace Allen with the Command Center. I I as well am very glad to see this happen. I think we've been talking about it for about 30 minutes. Around the clock. But so, and we've got several properties on Intersect, whether it's the clinic, whether it's the behavioral health urgent care center, co-response. We have housing as well, so I think, all of us can bring a lot to the table to try to wrap things up.
My name is Mark Potts. I'm the Director of Mental Outpatient Services. And just Covenant Health provides Peninsula with a mission to serve people in our community with quality psychiatric services they wouldn't otherwise be available to them, so we're happy to be here.
I'm David Hodgson. I'm Judge Sermon's plaintiff, and I'm just not compassionate help. It's helping people. Seeing people get help.
David is kind of our law enforcement representative to Veterans Court and Recovery Court, but he also is the kind of de facto mentor. So the unique thing about the Veterans Treatment Court is that we have mentors who are veterans, and I'm really proud of David. He's been taking a lot of initiative to help our veterans. I'm very proud of him. Very appreciative.
And I'm Misty Goodwin. I'm with CAC. I'm the Social Services Director there, and we do several programs, but probably the one that would cross with this most would be our homeless services program. So we do street outreach in Knox County, within the city limits outside of what VMC does. We also target homeless youth, 18 to 24, families with children, seniors, in addition to street outreach. We don't do housing per se in terms of operating it, but last year we housed over 450 some households just through deposits and rent and helping people go into housing for case management services. So we also provide emergency rental assistance, and then I oversee our LIFE program, which is utility assistance as well.
I'm Megan Newman. I'm an assistant public defender. I've been in that position for about 8 years, but for the last 2 years, I've also been the public defender liaison for Knox County Recovery Court and Veterans Treatment Court. Really through my work in those courts, I've really kind of bought into what specialized courts do. We've had some really amazing things happen, so I can't wait for this to get started.
Fantastic. I don't necessarily want to create homework. Me and Judge always have a running joke about that. But what would be unique or fun, we have on our teams, we have at the top, under our files here, we have our roster, and that's all of us. And as you know, when we invite more individuals, we will add to. But maybe if you wouldn't mind to find yourself here it's my last name, and under the notes, maybe if you wanted to, because Misty, you mentioned some really cool things I didn't even realize that you guys were doing and such. Maybe if we could add some notes of which organization has. Does that make sense? Maybe kind of what you do, a little synopsis of under the notes section beside your name. If you want to write something about what you do, post this meeting, we might kind of think back to it. What else did they say that they do? Or, I remember, you look at that might be something that we could start off after you get your invitation to serve. Link your invitation, then you go and do that. That might be something that we could do to start off as a way to get acclimated with teams and how to do that. And like George was saying, we'll meet as little. If we're using this to communicate with one another, kind of share stuff, the one-on-one meeting could truly form into allowing a time to invite someone to speak to us about a new service or resource in the area or whatnot. We're brainstorming on a couple of people that we could do each month, find speakers, not speakers, but someone in the community to come and share some information with us. So, and then that's really all I really wanted to accomplish now, outside of you guys have had the opportunity to talk amongst one another. I'm gonna get to know one another in the next, in the last 30 minutes. I don't know if there's anything else you would like to cover.
I just wish I could figure out why he
I really appreciate everyone coming, and I would like for you guys to talk amongst one another. Because I know, does everyone know each other here? This is the biggest small town I've ever lived in. So everyone knows everyone here, right? You guys all know Misty?
Close.
From CAC?
Yeah.
Yep,
Yep.
everything, yeah, yeah. So I mean,
And-
oh, Ron!
Ron had to take a call, but it's your turn to introduce yourself, Ron.
I'm Ron Hanover.
And
It's good to be here.
Well, most everyone knows Ron, but everyone knows Ron, right? Does everyone know Ron? Yeah. He's the director.
Ron, you've been director of recovery court since 1998, correct?
1990, well, we started planning in 1997,
Okay.
and then we opened in 99.
Yep. And we've had some ups and downs, and Ron has been there through it all. And how many participants do we have right now in recovery court?
73.
And how many veterans?
And I don't know, I haven't looked.
Isn't it about 20-ish?
It's 15, 20.
So we're helping some folks. We're at capacity and keeping our case managers pretty busy. And we're so very fortunate to partner with Knox for treatment. And we're so very grateful for the halfway houses that we work with. And we're making a positive difference for those folks. And we anticipate something similar coming up.
So show of hands, how many folks right now has someone in mind that you would like to invite to join in the committee? Yeah. So on the back of your roster, grab one. If you'll write that person's name, just leave it on the table or give it to me before you walk up, so that I can loop them in. 'Cause we definitely would like to, I think strength in numbers, the more involvement we have, the more we'll have. Now I feel like I need to know possible. If you guys would do me a favor, like take a cookie or a treat or I certainly, I mean, I know the clerk's offices won't be upset with the back with these cookies, however, please help yourself.
If I could just finally, thank you for all you do. I appreciate y'all. And I'm looking forward to getting to know better what all your agencies do and how we can partner together to make our community safer and help folks who are suffering. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.